It's the hottest real estate market in decades, but there are actively real estate agents right now losing tens of thousands of dollars for their clients by using the wrong pricing strategy. Today we're going to talk about what that mistake is and how you as a seller can make sure not to make the same mistake. With the current lack of housing inventory and incredibly low interest rates, the real estate market in Maryland is on fire. Multiple offer bidding wars are the norm now, and it's a common occurrence for buyers to offer well over the list price to win a property. This sounds like a can't miss opportunity for sellers, and you've likely heard on the news or all over social media that because of this, now is the time to sell. And that is absolutely true. But what you don't hear is that while you as the seller are trying to take advantage of the market, a bad suggested pricing strategy from your agent may cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. Unfortunately, a lot of real estate agents weren't around during the last housing bubble, and they didn't learn how to properly price a property to maximize consumer interest and final sales price in a market like the one we currently find ourselves in. When you interview an agent to potentially list your home for sale, they may tell you the best strategy in this market is to list the house at a low price to generate interest and eventually a ton of offers. This is a very dangerous mistake. The problem with this strategy is you're creating a psychological barrier for the buyers that prevents them from paying fair market or more for the house. For instance, an agent may expect a house to sell for $500,000, but suggests listing it at $450,000 to generate more interest and offers. The audience of potential buyers looks at this $450,000 list price as a starting point, and they understand that there's going to be multiple offers and they may be willing to pay more than the list price to win the house. However, because the price is only $450,000, they may only be willing to pay up to $475,000 or maybe $500,000 because they have a psychological anchor to that original list price. In their minds, the list price was what the sellers were looking for, and anything higher than that is quote-unquote overpaying for the property. One of the reasons some agents suggest this strategy is that once the property is sold, they can brag that they sold the house for a certain amount over the list price and that they had 20 offers. However, the proper strategy would be to list the price at what the most recent comparables indicate it might sell for, so you're targeting the true audience for the property. This way you're likely to sell at the fair market value or above, which would be higher than the price achieved in our first example. With the original strategy, you may list for $450,000 and sell for $500,000 with 20 offers. But with the proper pricing strategy, if you listed the home for $500,000, you would likely sell for $525,000 with maybe only 5 offers. From an agent's marketing perspective, it sounds much more impressive if they say they sold a property for $50,000 over the list price and generated 20 offers. But as a seller, I would rather receive fewer offers but net $25,000 more. Quite a few Red Cedar real estate buyer clients have taken advantage of this pricing mistake and closed on homes recently, netting them instant equity because of the mistakes the agent made. I recently represented clients that were interested in a house in Catonsville that was listed at $375,000. After we toured the property, we ran a comparative analysis for the buyers so they could have a better understanding of what the home should sell for. And based on that analysis, we figured a fair price for the house was somewhere around $400,000 to $405,000. We made a list price offer for the house of $375,000, but we added an escalation clause with a cap of $405,000. And the way that works is the buyer's offer automatically beats their competition by a certain amount up to the cap that they set. So we ended up winning the property. We beat out half a dozen or so other offers, and based on the next highest competing offer, our purchase price ended up being $387,000. So roughly $18,000 less than the buyers were willing to pay. The house appraised for $400,000, so the buyers instantly had $13,000 in equity despite having to battle multiple other buyers to win the house. That also means that the sellers lost at least $13,000 when selling their house, even though this is a crazy market and they generated many offers. The other competing buyers were not willing to quote-unquote overpay for the house because they didn't have the same analysis provided. But more importantly, the artificially low price point gave them a psychological barrier to paying significantly more than the list price. In this example, since my clients were willing to pay $405,000 for the house, the sellers lost $18,000 of their own equity. What's worse is they likely thought their agent did a great job by selling their house in 2 days with a bunch of offers, never knowing how much money they lost. In fact, they likely lost more than that, since pricing the house at $400,000 to begin with would have likely resulted in more offers significantly over the $400,000 list price. Understanding the pricing strategy mistake is important, but what's more important is knowing how to avoid it. When you meet with a listing agent to possibly have them list your home, ask them what their pricing strategy is. If they suggest listing the price low, that's a major red flag. More importantly, your agent should be providing you with a detailed breakdown of other similar homes that have recently sold in your neighborhood and provide you with reasoning as to what your home should be selling for based on those sales. If the agent's showing you a list of similar properties that sold for $500,000, but they're suggesting you list for $450,000, that's also a red flag. If you're exploring the possibility of selling your home and would like to discuss pricing strategy further, or you just need a second opinion, feel free to reach out and let us know.